Well, speaking of successes, because he gets to cover all of them when it comes to high school sports, even some of the collegiate sports, is Roy Fuoco. You've seen his name, you've seen his picture, the man, the myth, the legend. He is in our studio today, and we're glad to have you, Roy.
Good to be back.
Yeah, good to be back. Good to have you back as well. Well, Coaches of the Year, we have the Silver Garlands coming up. Silver Garlands. All righty then. Dementia is a wonderful thing, everybody. The All Sports Awards, Polk County All Sports Awards, and we have the Hall of Fame ceremonies as well that evening. It'll be June 13th.
RP Funding Center.
At the RP Funding Center. It's a huge event. Last year we had almost 1,000 people, and it celebrates all the successes in everything from professional sports all the way down to the prep athletes, and the Hall of Famers are never disappoint there. NBA guys, NFL people, Major League Baseball. It is just a phenomenal lineup every single year. This year will be no exception. But when it comes to the All Sports Awards, that features the high school athletes of the year. And Roy, let's start out with a little bit of your insights and what can we expect this year? We've already held here in Polk County 7 state championships. We hold more than anybody else in the state. We have 2 more coming up. And inevitably, we're going to have some Polk County state champions again.
Well, I hope so. I mean, like I said, the spring stuff is ramping up now. Tennis state, we had boys weightlifting last weekend had a state champion. We have tennis next week. 3 teams from Polk advanced. I don't expect a team to win a state title, but we could have our first boys state champion, Ben Saltman from Winter Haven, since I think his name was Patrick Gohan. Probably butchered the pronunciation, from George Jenkins in the late 90s. That was the last boys state champion for tennis. Monarch Arguello, of course, won back-to-back for the girls around 2005 and 6. That was the last from anyone. You know, Ben Saltman, his dad is David Saltman, the tennis pro at the Winter Haven City Courts. Used to be a basketball coach in the area too. Went to Haines City. Ben has been winning all sorts of youth tournaments, growing up. He didn't play high school tennis last year, but he's back this year, and he's just been dominating, and so he has a legitimate chance. He's ranked, I think, 5th in the state for his recruiting class, which would be the class of 26. So, and you can tell. I mean, Nico Camria, I probably butchered that name, from Jenkins. He was our tennis player of the year last year, and he played a lot of juniors events. He's above a lot of the most average high school players, and Ben has beaten him 3 or 4 times this year, so you can see that just another level. They had one really good battle at districts. I'm not too sure what the score was last night. They played again, I think for the 4th time. Ben won, but Jenkins won the team. They beat Winter Haven to advance the state. So,
wow.
Winter Haven boys, Arbondale boys won, and then Bartow girls won to go to state. So, and then there's Naya Kerr from Santa Fe. She's a sophomore, I believe. She's a junior. She from the Tampa area, moved to Lakeland. And she advanced as an individual, and she's probably the top girl player in the county this year since McKenna Batilla. She injured. Feel bad for her. She injured her knee right during the soccer playoffs. Arbondale might have gone to the Final Four had she. When you look at what happened afterwards, had she not got her hurt, because she's one of the top players in the state, and she was our tennis player of the year last year. She's a multi-sport, so when she got hurt, I was wondering who was going to take over, and obviously I wouldn't have guessed her, because Kerr wasn't in the county till last year. So there's that starts, and then baseball and softball districts kick up, and we're on our way. We had track district yesterday, continues tomorrow with 3A at Lake Region. So it's heating up.
and one that is starting to kind of emerge, Winter Haven and beach volleyball.
Yeah, they I'm trying to remember how far they got last year. I think to the state semis.
They got to the state semis
Yeah.
last year. They've already won the district this
Yeah.
year. They're showing a strength in that.
Yeah, well, Dylan Seacrest is the coach, and he coaches the girls in the fall in the indoor, and he does a tremendous job with that program. And they have Riley Tanner, who plays beach in the indoor, and she's one of the top players. And and so they started that. He took it and ran with it, and it's not surprised that where they're at. I mean, like I said, he's done a great job with that program since taking over. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get any further this year, or if they still, I didn't know what to expect from them last year because it was the first year, and most of the time, first year sports teams, the team that's where it started, they don't really do much. But that wasn't the case for them last year.
Okay. Well, the Florida High School Activities Association, obviously the governing body for prep sports. And this coming week, we have the which doesn't fall under that umbrella. We have the Homeschool World Series baseball, and that's going to be out at Lake Myrtle. It'll be a big event. Runs all week long. Really excited about that one coming up, which is my brutal segue into baseball this year. How did Polk County fare in the sport of baseball?
They have like the district start next week. Lakeland Christian is defending champion. They're again one of the top teams in 2A. McKeel is ranked number 1 in 4A, I think it is. They now McKeel won the Santa Fe tournament. Everybody was running out of pitching, but Lakeland Christian actually edged. They came back from behind and beat McKeel in the county tournament. So McKeel has just been, they graduated some key players last year, but they had some young players back, and then KJ Scobie, a golfer too. He's one of the best players in the county, and he's just been lighting it up. And Caden Howell, another one who's been doing real well for them, and they've got a good pitching staff. Three or four good starters, and you only really need 3 in the playoffs and some depth behind it. So McKeel's going to be interesting, and then after that, there's Jenkins, Winter Haven, Lakeland was a surprise. They lost their best player, Nick Partridge, to transfer to Mulberry. And but they had a good pitching staff, and they've been doing well. So the bigger classification, there's some talented teams. I don't know if there's anybody who can make a deep run, but someone sometimes always comes out of the woodwork. So we'll have to see.
And one sport that Polk has been a powerhouse in forever, softball. So Bartow, who else?
Yeah, well, Bartow. The second best team in the county this year is George Jenkins. They're back. The only problem is they're in Bartow's district. So, and Bartow beat them twice pretty handily. It's going to be hard for them to beat Red Oxley, the pitcher, they could meet again in the region in the playoffs.
Yep.
Although the last rankings I saw, if they hold, Jenkins will probably end up playing Melbourne, and Melbourne has the pitcher who beat Red earlier this year and beat them 2 years ago. So the top 4 or 5 teams in the state are all in 7A.
Where'd she commit to? Red.
She signed with Florida.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and the girl from Melbourne, her name slips my mind, but she's another big time, and so Red. The defending state champions Bartow, that's gonna probably be Bartow Melbourne in the region finals. The good thing, it'll probably be at Bartow. Now, obviously, I'm jumping 2 weeks ahead and 4 or 5 games ahead, but that's gonna be a tough game for Bartow to win. It's gonna probably go extra innings. It'll probably be 0-0 into the 8th inning with 1 or 2 hits from each team, and see who survives.
Yeah. A stolen base and a mistake, and there's a game.
Yeah, and that's basically what happened when they lost 2 years ago. It was a pup-up. The rally got started with a pup-up in foul territory. Mackenzie Gibson made a great diving catch for it, only Red collides with her as they're going down. They both collide. The glove hits the ground. The ball rolls out. batter stays alive, you replay the inning. That they had that out then. The runs doesn't wouldn't have happened going forward. So, but yeah, that's how it usually happens. In those type of games.
Roy, we've got about a minute, and I'd be remiss. We should have started with this, but didn't, because I know the only reason being the length of the answer. But to keep it short, the dynamic in today's high school sports. What's the biggest change you've seen over the last decade or so?
Well, the recent one is just really how kids will always change schools, and it's really kind of amped up even more with the change in the law, and so it's like every year you just see different. It's in between that and the talk about the NIL coming in, but just that's future. But as far as what's happened so far, that's it. I mean, you see, the good programs always got players. Now it's amping up even more, and they leave good programs. It's hard to coach now. With what you never know. You can do everything right, and like I hate to sound a cliche, no loyalty, but and I've seen cases, a lot of cases where the grass wasn't greener. They should have stayed where they are.
Yeah. Well, that could be a topic of a whole segment. No question about that. And then the NIL, name, images, and likenesses that we're seeing pervasive now in college sports. It's only a matter of time. And so it'll be interesting how it affects kids that aren't always the best decision makers at this point in their lives. So how that changes high school sports, God only knows.
Yeah, but you mentioned the Silver Garland, and that's why I've always felt that I have a more optimistic view of young kids today, is because you see kids like that, and it's there are a lot of impressive young kids out there, and just you see that when I do the all academic with the grades or something. So you try to stay optimistic about it, even with some of the negative changes.
Yeah. Well, Roy, thanks. If you enjoyed this interview and want to watch more Sports Central, click the video below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.